Welcome back to my garage. You've probably figured out what's going on here. I'm going to do some machining and finish it off with a quick hand job, and I'll explain further. As you've seen by now, I've lowered the exhaust duct floor, which means the transition from the duct shape to the round pipe shape happens much earlier than what it has been doing. This exhaust duct is a long story. It started out as narrow as this, and that was actually a mistake. The reason behind the small area of the exhaust port duct is to the duct exit is 100% of the effective exhaust port area at the duct exit, and the duct exit should be about 2 bores away from the port, from the piston. This is smaller than that because I screwed up, and I did because like the rule of thumb is 80% of total exhaust port area. But my exhaust port used to be, it's a little bit lower now, but it used to be only blow down, so no part of it protruded below the transfer roofs. And so I meant to make the exit same as the effective port area, but I screwed up and made it 80% versus 100% of blow down area. And also, what I think is going on, and this in a larger bike and probably with a much rounder exit, this would have been best. But I think problem number one, I made this because there's also a thing where you want to promote flow from the outer flanks of the ports or the auxiliary ports in a 3-port configuration. So that's why this weird oblong shape. But I went too far, I think, and it's too flattened, and skin friction or like the drag from the, and now that I'm going to talk about it, I forgot the name. The boundary layer. I think the boundary layer at the transition between the exhaust gases and the aluminium, I think the boundary layer is thick enough to come into action and play an important role in a small engine like 50cc. And that's why I think the rule of thumb of the 2x bore 80% of total exhaust area exit, I think that probably doesn't work as well in a 50cc engine, and definitely not when the port is as flat as this. So I did make this a little bit larger, and that's what we've been running for a while now. But now I've made it so that it becomes much larger, much earlier. So now the transition doesn't happen in here. It actually happens like maybe 20-30 millimeters from the port, and that's how the transition happens in the EAM 50 engine, the cylinder, not the engine, but the cylinder I've used on my old engine, and that works really well. So let's see if this makes a difference. It was a software that got me into this, and but he's not the only one who's been talking about how the port is too small, the duct exit is too small. And also when I was when we did testing last time and it made 9 horsepower versus 6 with this pipe extension, it got me thinking, because in effect this makes the pipe longer, so you will have peak power at lower RPM, but it also makes so that it's sucking hardest, because now the header is too long, and that means it's the hardest suction is happening after bottom dead center, so not in the most effective, not where you want the pipe to suck the hardest. You want it to suck the hardest when the transfers are fully open at bottom dead center. But so I started thinking maybe it is the transfers being overpowered by the exhaust suction and now making the pipe less effective, sucking less hard when the transfers are fully open. Maybe there's more velocity in the transfers, and maybe, so that could still be it. But also I never considered that it might be running out of blowdown area because the port is so huge and there's a bunch of area. But the duct, even though designed with good intentions, might have or probably has restricted that effective area to a point where it actually has been running out of blowdown, and that's why there's no power at high RPM, and suddenly we gain lots of power at low, relatively low RPM, like 13,000 or something. And maybe something will happen now. We'll see. Let's assemble. Let's see how it behaves. Seems like I didn't save any of the runs. Maybe I didn't press save or something. I did press save and close, so that last run should your dyno disconnected, it says. Anyways, I think we saw like upwards of 11 horsepower. We're gonna try one thing, because my runs are so short now. Let's switch out the primary pool with a bigger one and see if we can get some longer run times. This boss is too big for, it'll hit the ignition trigger. We ran out of fuel. One-to-one drive ratio seems to introduce too much friction early on in the transmission stages, because what I thought would happen would be I could run longer runs, because with an inertia dyno, if you have really short runs, then you get really low numbers, because the inertia of the engine itself plays a larger role. So what I expected to see was that I could perform longer runs and see higher numbers. I didn't, so maybe this whole deal is not such a good idea. Regardless, we're up at around 11 horsepower now, up from almost twice the power. So let's say twice the power from with the smaller exhaust duct, which is a huge win. And now with the normal length pipe, and looking at the EGT numbers while performing the last runs here, they're really low now, like below 500 degrees Celsius. So we're probably running really rich, and timing is probably off too. So it might be, we're on the right track. We're on the right track. Now we can actually start tuning a little bit, and then start experimenting with stuff, and not just troubleshooting. Because a win this time. A win this time too. See you next time.